I don't understand why folks are making excuses for Pastor Jamal Bryant in this situation. Let's be real. Christian folks have dragged women in the church for far less. Look at how Erica Campbell and Yolanda Adams are constantly criticized for simply wearing dresses that fit their natural curves. They catch endless flack just for how they look while staying fully clothed and classy. But here we are with a pastor who impregnates a woman who isn't his wife, and suddenly there's a crowd of people rushing to defend him? The double standard is glaring. If Pastor Bryant were a woman, can you even imagine the level of backlash she'd face? The judgment, the ridicule, the sermons preached about her fall from grace? It's almost like some people are willing to forgive anything, so long as the sinner is a man. In 2015, Pastor Jamal Bryant faced allegations from LaToya Shanti Odom, a California-based massage therapist, claiming he fathered her son, John Karsten Bryant, born in July of that year. LaToya Shanti Odom has alleged that Jamal Bryant does not spend time with their child, and, in the past, failed to provide consistent financial support. Because of this, she reportedly had to file for child support to ensure regular financial assistance for their son. If we go back to the beginning of this situation, it all started when Jamal Bryant was serving at Empowerment Temple in Baltimore. At that time, LaToya Shanti Odom took legal action because Jamal allegedly denied paternity, refusing to acknowledge that the child was his. This led to a court-ordered DNA test. The test, conducted by LB Genetics, one of the most trusted DNA testing facilities in California and widely recognized by U.S. federal courts, the test showed 99% certainty that Bryant was the biological father of her child, who was 10 months old at the time. LaToya Shanti Odom has claimed that Reverend Jamal Bryant pleaded with her to terminate the pregnancy, expressing fear that he might not survive another scandal damaging his reputation. Of course, he didn't want another scandal. Who would? But if you truly want to avoid scandal, you learn to keep your body and actions in check. Let's not forget that before Pastor Jamal Bryant even launched his church, Empowerment Temple AME Church in Baltimore in 2000, he had already welcomed a daughter named Topaz in August 1998 with a woman named Crystal Madison. At the same time, Bryant was dating Giselle Graves, whom he later married in 2002. The couple had 3 daughters together, Grace, born in 2004, and twins Angel and Adore, born in 2006. In an interview with Angela Yee, Giselle Bryant shared a wild revelation about her ex-husband, Pastor Jamal Bryant. She admitted that she was so busy being a mom that she didn't even notice her husband was out there recklessly sharing his holy joystick with other women. It wasn't until someone, clearly fed up with Jamal's antics, came forward and spilled the beans that Giselle finally learned the truth. That was the final straw, and by 2009, their divorce was finalized. With Giselle out of the picture, Pastor Bryant had all the freedom he needed to wave his blessed baton around as he pleased. That's when LaToya Shanti Odom entered the scene and later gave birth to his son, a child Jamal initially tried to deny. But as we all know, DNA doesn't lie, and it confirmed exactly what everyone suspected. The boy was his. Here we are in November 2024, and LaToya Shanti Odom is back in court, making a compelling case about the challenges she's facing as the sole custodian of her son with Pastor Jamal Bryant. Odom revealed that her son has autism and needs to attend a specialized school, something that naturally comes with increased financial demands. She also shared that she's been unemployed for a few months, and her livelihood has drastically changed, leaving her in urgent need of more support from Bryant. On top of that, Odom stated that she felt railroaded by her previous lawyer, who, in her words, did what he wanted to do, and sided with Bryant and his legal team. For a mother battling both financial challenges and the complexities of raising a child with special needs, such betrayal from her own legal counsel is another uphill struggle.
Which is the pandemic. I have tried to ask them for... Huh?
Why Texas? When I just went back, when I looked at
the case. Yeah, so I had to move. Yeah, I've moved 4 times because he has bothered me. So in Georgia, when my address was on there, they took hinges off my door. They have moved someone in across the way. These are his friends. So I had to move to Florida with my grandmother. When I moved to Florida with my grandmother, then he sent his cousin there. I had to move from Texas. I had to move from Florida. And then I finally went to Texas. I came to Texas. He vetted my residence people. They have towed my car. They have slandered my tires. I mean, I have been through the ringer with this man, and he's pretending like, oh, I'm on the stage just preaching. You're not. You are really trying to negate the fact that to meet you and to see and to say, hey, this is my truth. And I need more money now because of my son. And I had lost my job. Now, mind you, I just got a new job. All this is new information. They don't want to talk to me. Every time I talk to Texas, they say, oh, well, Georgia has 90 days to respond. Then when I'll have no days to respond, it's always, well, Georgia laws are this. I mean, they have taken me through the ringer for 4 years, Judge. 4 years, and I'm finally seeing you now.
And guess what? Jamal didn't even bother to show up for the court hearing. The judge wasn't having it and was visibly upset about his absence, even mentioning the possibility of issuing a warrant.
He was recently married, I got notice, and he chose not to be here. That's his issue. I'm actually kind of bothered that he's not here because he did not have notice. He did not have the excuse of the court. The court did not relieve him. And so he actually should be here. And the fact that he isn't here actually is that's a warrant. He should be issued a warrant, should be issued for him not being present, to be honest with you.
Meanwhile, Jamal is reportedly off enjoying life with his new wife, seemingly unbothered by the serious matters at hand. It's wild to see how adultery and having multiple children outside of marriage no longer seem to carry the same weight in the church. Parishioners are more than willing to overlook a pastor's character flaws, justifying it all under the banner of forgiveness and grace. But let's be honest, if the tables were turned, the reaction would be completely different. Imagine a female minister admitting to infidelity and then later becoming pregnant while single. The backlash would be deafening. Her congregation would empty out faster than you could say judgment, with an exodus that might rival the Great Migration. The double standards in the church when it comes to men and women are as blatant as they are disappointing. It begs the question, are we holding pastors to biblical standards, or are we selectively forgiving based on gender? It's no secret that divorce has become more common, but what's truly alarming is how casually it's often approached within the Christian community. Once considered a last resort, many believers now seem willing to part ways over what can only be described as flimsy excuses. Even more troubling, pastors, those who are supposed to model biblical principles, are often leading the charge. Marriage, as outlined in Scripture, is a covenant, a sacred commitment that requires effort, grace, and perseverance. The Bible provides clear but limited grounds for divorce, such as adultery or abandonment. Matthew 19:9, 1 Corinthians 7:15. Yet, today, it seems that irreconcilable differences, convenience, or dissatisfaction are increasingly cited as reasons to end a marriage. What's worse is the example being set by some pastors, whose divorces often garner public attention. These leaders stand in the pulpit preaching about the sanctity of marriage, yet their actions sometimes undermine the very principles they proclaim. Instead of working through challenges with humility and a commitment to reconciliation, we see stories of pastors filing for divorce and quickly moving on, sometimes into new relationships, while offering vague justifications cloaked in spiritual language like, "God told me to move on." This trend raises critical questions about accountability. If pastors, who should uphold the highest standards, are normalizing quick divorces, what message does that send to their congregations? Are we witnessing a shift where cultural norms take precedence over biblical teachings? The danger lies in how these actions erode trust and set a precedent for others in the church. If marriage is no longer treated as a lifelong covenant, but instead as a contract that can be discarded at will, it undermines one of the foundational pillars of Christian living. Churches need to address this issue head-on. Pastors and leaders should not only teach, but also embody the commitment, sacrifice, and grace that marriage requires. Without accountability at the top, the church risks normalizing behaviors that stray far from biblical truth. At the end of the day, divorce may sometimes be necessary in extreme situations, but the growing trend of dissolving marriages over minor grievances, especially among those in leadership, raises a question the church must urgently answer. Are we honoring the covenant of marriage, or are we letting the culture dictate how we handle it?